Let's talk a little bit about syntactic islands and their acquisition. So syntactic islands involve what are called WH dependencies. So let's consider this scenario. This kitty was bought as a present for someone. Lily thinks this kitty is pretty. Who does Lily think the kitty for is pretty? Can't really ask that. I mean, you kind of know what you'd like to ask, but you can't ask it that way. Instead, you have to sort of go about it a little bit more roundabout. What does Lily think is pretty and who does she think it's for? Right, that you can do, but this one, who does Lily think the kitty for is pretty, doesn't work so well. What's going on here? Well, one answer is that there's a dependency between the WH word who and where it's understood after for, the kitty for who, which we sometimes call the gap, right? That dependency is not so good, right? It's not allowed, it's really dispreferred, however you like to think about this in English. And one explanation is that the dependency crosses what's called a syntactic island. And there's this little metaphor. If you're on an island, you can't get off, right? There's no crossing to get onto or off of an island. It is an island, right? And so the idea is that if you're on a syntactic island, you are not allowed to cross it, right? That's bad. And there are many different types of syntactic islands. So this one we just saw, who does Lily think the kitty for is pretty, as a subject island. But we consider some other ones. So here's Jack. He's somewhat tricksy. He claimed he bought something. What did Jack make the claim that he bought? Also bad. It's a complex NP island because the claim that he bought is a complex noun phrase. Go back to Tricksy Jack. He claimed he bought something. Elizabeth wondered if he actually did and what it was. How can we ask about the situation? We might say this. What did Elizabeth wonder whether Jack bought? Can't do that either. And that's known as a weather island because we have the word weather right there. Jack's somewhat tricksy. He claimed he bought something. Elizabeth worried it was something dangerous because Jack's just kind of like that, right? So we might want to ask, what did Elizabeth worry if Jack bought? But can't do that, right? So that's an adjunct island. And something important here is it's not just about the length of the dependency, because these are kind of long, right? You can have long dependencies. You can build them up. And I can show you can have a short one like, what did Elizabeth think? You can have a longer one like these. What did Elizabeth think that Jack said? And that seems fine. You can even go longer. What did Elizabeth think Jack said Lily saw? Now you might forget exactly who's doing what, but it's not uncomfortable, right? The way that these are uncomfortable. It's not just about length. So English adults judge these dependencies to be far worse than many others, including others that are pretty similar, except they don't cross what are supposed to be syntactic islands. And English learning children actually strongly disprefer one of these dependencies, the complex NP island one, compared to others, right? So these judgments and dispreferences are a measurable, observable behavior that can signal the successful acquisition of syntactic island knowledge, and that's what we're going to zoom in on. So these judgments and dispreferences are going to serve as the target for successful acquisition. It's an outcome that we can measure.